Prepare yourselves to partake in the sacraments of the ranunculus. Hey YouTube, Snapchat, this is Buttercup. What's going on, y'all? I'm gonna be your sermon giver for the day, and today's sermon is going to be about nostalgia, nostalgic media of all kinds. Just kidding, we're gonna stick to video games, specifically Pokemon. Now, I have not partaken of Pokemon Go in quite a while. I am aware that there are a bunch of updates, but you know what? It's just an addiction I don't want to keep. But a major part of my stress relieving framework is that I need some sort of video game that is just like, mindless thing to do. So, and do not tell the IP authorities, I downloaded a ROM for an emulator of Pokemon Leaf Green. This game came out in like 2004. It was a reboot of the original Pokemon first generation Jones, and it's so dope. It's so good. Now, I've been playing for like 3, maybe 4 days, and I just reached the Elite Four. I really could not be more excited. Let me tell you about my lineup. Only nerds need to watch the next 2 snaps. I got Raichu, Articuno, Venusaur, Gyarados, Dugtrio, Sandshrew. Yes, I said Sandshrew. I need Cut. I got HM1. But ain't none of them strong enough to beat Gary yet, so I'm about to do some training on that Victory Road, Indigo Plateau, you know what I'm saying? Anyway, I just think it's interesting how video games have overall replaced different sort of intellectual practices that we use as a healing form of reducing stress. It's like with any technology, like you ask yourself, what did people do before? And the answer to video games is puzzles, other types of games, solitaire, shit like Sudoku, crosswords, you know what I'm saying? It's like a thing that you can just be like, I'm just doing this. And I'm sure if I follow Kotaku or some other gaming website that I would see more articles that talk about this intersection. But for me, it was really interesting to individually realize what kind of space games were occupying in my routine. Because at some point, and I'm sure even to this day, a lot of career-oriented things have to do with games and gaming and organizing and puzzles. But the sort of games for game's sake sort of null space that video games occupy and that institutions that they become like Major League Gaming, really interesting. And the reason for this is, to me, that there is no competitive framework until there are people who show that they have a better skill at this mindless thing. Just imagine a African Stone Age person stacking a bunch of rocks, realizing that the stablest structure is a pyramid. Her buddy comes over and is like, "Hey, what you doing over there?" And she's like, "Oh, I just realized I can stack these things and I can stack them higher when it's in this shape." Girl, that's really interesting. That is really interesting. That is really. Can I try that out? She's like, "Yeah, sure." Next thing you know, you got a whole community of who knows how many people just building pyramids, always building pyramids. It's a puzzle, you got to make it work. You got to make it work. It's like Jenga, you know what I'm saying? Don't let the thing fall, man. Everyone's like, okay, yeah, we're gonna put this brick here, we're gonna put this brick. Don't let it fall, don't let it fall. And it falls, and then they have to rebuild it. I can't believe you desecrated my pyramid. I'm going to fight you about it. Next thing you know, there's a clan bifurcation, and then someone's building pyramids over here, the other person's like, I can build better pyramids over here. So you got this thing that was about aesthetics, and then became a spiritual communal practice, and then it became this point of contention. Same way with video games. The interesting thing is about video games is that most video games are about competition inside. You're fighting the game in the game. So that leads me to ask myself, the person who was using the rocks and building pyramids, were they thinking oh, you know what, I'm fighting gravity to make this thing. Now, I know it wasn't just a single point or instance, but when did it become about fighting in competition? This is what's on my mind. This is what I'm thinking about. What do you think?